past weeks, I've talked about your perception being your reality. And I missed a real important step. And that is communication. A lot of people's perceptions come from how they communicate and how they receive the communication. Now, my question to you is, how do you communicate your thoughts and your true feelings? And how do you know if the other person you're communicating with really truly understands what point you're trying to come across? Now, believe me, this is an age-long discussion, and many books have been written about it. Men Are From Mars, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich, and on and on and on. Now, today I don't want to solve the way the whole world communicates, because believe me, I can use a few lessons in communication. I just want to make sure that all of us are trying to communicate effectively and the best way possible. Now, there's multiple ways to communicate. You could do it in writing or email or text. Now, I've found myself that this is the least effective way to communicate. And here's the reason. If I send an email and it said, "Did you get it?" and the email comes back saying, "What?" and then I say, "The thing I sent," and they say, "What thing?" and I say, "The package," and they say, "I don't know what you're talking about," and then you email back, "I left it by the door." "What door?" and then you email back, "The back door." This could go on and on and on and on. And a lot of you have emails exactly the same way, where you're trying to communicate and you have all this stuff in your head. It's just not coming out while you're typing. And especially for me, because I'm not the best typist. So, not to say accidentally, even if you hit the caps lock key on your answer back, you get another email back saying, "Why are you yelling at me?" Now, believe me, technology is great, but there's better ways to communicate than the ways of text and email. Okay, second way, there's a phone call you can make or a phone message. A call is better than an email. It's quicker, but still tends not to communicate completely effectively through the phone. You're more likely to get in an argument on the phone than you ever will disagree in person. Have you ever had a ridiculous argument on the phone, yelling about something you don't even know why you're yelling about? You're just yelling because the person on the other end is yelling. That's not effective communication. Now, the most effective way, I believe, is in person, when possible. Okay? There's a lot of things that might not be possible to get you in person. When it's possible, communication in person. Why? Because your tonality, your facial expressions, your body language, your emotions, your true feelings come out, and I doubt there's going to be much yelling when you're in person. High percentage of relationships, business or personal, fail due to effective communication. And when you're one-on-one sitting down with somebody, you can effectively communicate because you can see how they're receiving the communication. So, what action steps can you have today about effective communication? First, think of the outcome that you want to happen with the communication. What resolution do you want when you're sitting down and trying to communicate effectively? Now, when you know that, you need to ask after the communication, do you understand what just happened? So if I'm communicating with you and I say to you, "Okay, we're done," and you understand, and they say yes, and then I go back and say, "So let's go back exactly over what we just talked about." And a lot of times you'll find out is, "No, that's not what I heard. That's not what I thought you were saying." And you'll get an easy yes or no of, did you effectively communicate? Either way, it's clear, and you can keep going back to the point you were trying to make. George Bernard Shaw wrote this: "The problem with communication is the illusion that it's been accomplished." I really realized this when I was telling my son he had done something wrong, and why it was important he did not hit his sister. And I finished looking at him sternly and I said, "Do you understand me?" And he said, "Yes, Dada." Okay. 5 seconds later was followed up with, "Dada?" I said, "Yes." What does understand mean? So you can see, I effectively didn't give him a vocabulary big enough at that time to understand even what I was trying to say. He was saying yes because he thought he kind of understood what I was saying, but he didn't even know what I meant by the word understand. The second thing, listen, listen, listen. Most people are so eager to make their point, they don't even listen to what's being said to them. They want to make their point so bad that they cut people off. The most important thing about communication is hear what is being said. Now, third, don't one-up somebody or point out their faults to communicate your point. That's not effective communication. Example is, "How can you be mad at me for being late when you were late last week?" Or something, "I know I'm late with this report, but I finished it quicker than you would have finished it." That's not effective communication, because all you're saying is defensively, "I'm better than you." And that starts where it is. It starts the argument. A lot of communication is about feeling. A person's feelings, if they're right or wrong. And let me tell you, someone's feelings are not wrong. They're their feelings. And you may not agree with their feelings, but they're their feelings. So remembering arguing is never an effective way to communicate. You have to take the emotions out a little and go back to step one, which was, what is the outcome that you're looking for in this communication? Dale Carnegie wrote, when dealing with people, remember, you're not dealing with creatures of logic, but creatures of emotion. We all can communicate in life a little bit better. Believe me, I can as well. We need to take the steps to effectively communicate more, to truly have an outcome to what we're trying to communicate. We all have a strong idea what we want from life, and most people don't even know, or the people around us, what that really is. Today, ask something of the closest person in your life. Ask them to write down what the perception is, what you believe your dream vacation is. Or have them write down what their perception is of what mark you want to make in life, in personal and in your career. You write down the same thing. You might be really surprised that you have two different answers. And that's communicating with the closest person in your life. Think about communication. Think about your outcome, what you're trying to communicate to somebody. That will change either in sales or change your life. A lot of people have a struggle letting their true feelings out, and they want to hold stuff back. If you want to get things done and have your life move at a quicker pace to your goals, communicating is the best way to do it. Make this week count. Have some fun and make some dreams come true.